What was the first rap song that changed your life?
It Takes Two by Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock. That song still, for goddamn, bro, I was listening to that song the other day. Like, this song still hits to this day. So I was in second grade, um, and I used to, my sister, when I was like 9, 10 years old, my sister got her first apartment. So my older sister got pregnant when she was like 17, 18 years old. And she got her first apartment. And during the summer, when my mom would go to work, I would stay at my sister's apartment. And I would sit in front of the TV watching Yo MTV Raps, watching just MTV music video after video after video. And that's how I fell in love with rap music is I'm sitting there in the late 80s, early 90s, seeing rap music from Kansas City through a TV screen, through music videos. That's how I learned hip hop. That was my exposure to hip hop culture was rap music videos. And I remember It Takes Two by Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock. I used to wait just hour after hour after hour staring at MTV, hoping that they would play that video. And they would like every 2 or 3 days, they might play it once. And I would flip the fuck out when they would play it, like the beat, everything about that song. I must have been 9 years old when that song came out. I'd have to look, but I'll never forget. It's the first tape that I ever bought. I saved up this is when you could get a tape for like $15, $20. I mean, they were so expensive. And I got a Walkman for my birthday. And the first tape I ever bought was It Takes Two, which is the album title too. And that is definitely the song that without question opened every door for my deepest love for rap music. Like, I liked rap music. I loved hip hop. I was obsessed with it. But that song just hit me in a way where I was like, fuck, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard. And that shit still holds up to this day. You play that song right now, people go crazy. Dead ass.
At the time, though, did you have a lot of black friends, or was this like more of your introduction to African American culture?
No, I had, so at my school, my best friends were Paul, Mario, and JoJo. And so Paul and Mario were black, and JoJo's Colombian, and Mario's dead. But Paul and Joe are still friends of mine. So my best friends when I was growing up were like, we were all into that. That was like our thing at that age, just rap music, like all of the NWA, Public Enemy, Boogie Down Productions, all De La Soul, that was what we did as kids. We would go to Paul's house, and he had, Eazy-E on tape, and we'd sit there and listen to it when his mom was in the other room, and we'd turn it down so she didn't hear the curse words. So, no, I mean, like, I grew up around and had a lot of black friends and kids. So it wasn't like it was a foreign concept to me. It's just in terms of hip hop, what was actually happening in like New York City, in the actual Bronx or something like that, versus what was happening in Kansas City where I was, were very different things. So there wasn't a representation of Kansas City on any rap music video at that point. So I was being exposed. It was less about being exposed to black culture or hip hop culture, but more or less being exposed to just big city culture by watching what was happening in these videos and being like, that doesn't look like what it looks like here. That's not what Kansas City looks like. So, yeah, no, I mean, it was definitely, the first love that I've ever had, though.
What was the album that really made you want to become a rapper?
The album that made me want to become a rapper. I mean, God, there's so many of them. I would say if there was an album that triggered my artistry and really made me go like, man, like I want to be a part of this. The album that I'll say right now, this may change depending on the day that you ask me, but I would say Enter the 36 Chambers by the Wu-Tang Clan would
Wow.
probably be an album that I would say, man, that changed my entire creative perspective. And it came out in 93, 92, 93, and I was in sixth grade. And I remember we would listen to that in our Walkman. We would talk like that in between. Was it fifth or sixth grade that came out? Because I was in love with rap music before that. But when Wu-Tang Clan came out, I changed the way I dressed, the way I talked. I started trying to freestyle. Like, so any of the like 92, 93 albums, like the classics from those years, that's probably when I started really thinking about like, I think I want to be a part of hip hop in some way. I just didn't know how to do it. You know what I mean? Like I had no idea how do I become a part of this culture when I live in Kansas City and that doesn't exist here. That's not what we have here. But I love the music and I love the aesthetic so much. How do I become a part of this? So I would say like sixth grade, Wu-Tang, Dre and Snoop, that was in fifth grade, but like those records were when it really like, it became a passion. Like people would get so fucking annoyed by me, bro. Like there were tons of rap music fans in my friend group and that I was around, but nobody wanted to sit and talk about rap music 24 hours a day like I did. Like I would be with my friends in seventh grade and I'd be like, no, bro, like we got to talk about the RZA, like the way that he made these beats on this fucking Jizza Liquid Swords album. Like, are you hearing this? And they'd be like, yeah, it's cool. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. And it was just like a thing where I was like, bro, like I really love hip hop. Like this is a thing that's like, this is what I want to do. This is who I want to be. If you come up and ask me about rap, I'll talk to you about it for fucking 7 hours straight. Like we can just talk about rap. Tribe Called Quest, let's listen to it together. Let's talk about it. Like that's what I wanted to do as a kid. So sixth, seventh grade, that's when I started being like, I got to be a part of this somehow. I don't know how, but it's my favorite thing on earth right now is rap music.
It's also that age where you're really coming into your own, like 12, 13 years old, pretty much, right? Where you're like really starting to find yourself and your comprehension of some of the things they're talking about in the music is starting to make more sense.
Big time, bro. That's such an important age. And one of the things that I love about the era that I grew up in, because there's people that are older than me that got to experience the late 80s and the hip hop that happened in like 88. And I was just a little too young. I was born in 81. So in 88, I was 7 years old. I didn't get to experience that or understand it until later, going back to those albums later. But 93, I got to experience. 94, I got to experience. I was there. I was young. I was 13, rebellious, going, this is the fucking greatest thing I've ever been through in my, like, it was everything to me, bro. And it was such a, you're coming alive sexually. Your hormones are starting to kick into gear. You're starting to like girls or whoever you like. And then you have this music, that's the soundtrack to your life. And the soundtrack of my life was Wu-Tang, was The Chronic by Dr. Dre, the first Outkast album, the first Mobb Deep album. This was the soundtrack to my life. The first couple Tribe Called Quest records, these were always playing in the environment that I was in. And it was like maturing and becoming a human and going through puberty while listening to Return to the 36 Chambers by Old Dirty Bastard, like while listening to these brilliant rap records and seeing like this aesthetic match the way I feel was literally everything to me. I mean, it was like I liked rap music, skateboarding, and girls. And in a lot of ways, that's still the three things that I like. So they had not much has changed, bro.
No, it's crazy because you know how they say that smell is our strongest sense, right? But I feel like when you put on like a certain song, it brings you back to that time period, just like the smell of something does, you know?
Bro, let me tell you, man. When Mobb Deep came out with the infamous album, and I'll never forget, like I will never forget. I was in, I want to say seventh grade. I can't remember the exact grade I was in, but the first time I heard Shook Ones, I had bought the album the night before. And what I used to do is I had a Walkman for cassette tapes. And I had a CD player that could dub from the CD to a cassette. And so I didn't have a Discman. I had a Walkman for my tapes. So I would get blank tapes and I would take the CDs that I got and I would dub my favorite songs onto tape so I could listen to it on my Walkman on the bus at school because I didn't have the ability to do that with my CD. So I would buy the CD, put it on tape. And I remember I put the Mobb Deep album, I bought it, went right home, put it on tape so I could listen to it at school the next day. Like I just took the CD, put it on tape. And I remember I was at the bus stop at like 7:30 in the morning, seventh grade, waiting for the bus. The first time I ever heard Shook Ones. And I'll never forget there was like an overcast morning. I'm sitting there half awake, getting ready to go to the bus stop, listening to Mobb Deep, the infamous album, the first time. Shook Ones comes on in my headphones. And every time I hear that beat come on to this day, I see flashes in my head. I get I can see the colors. I can see the street, the dew on the ground from the morning. Shook Ones by Mobb Deep. Every time I hear that song, I think about getting ready to go to school in the morning, standing at a bus stop. It brings the entire visual back to me. That's how profound music is it's such a sensory, it leaves such a sensory impression on you that you are experiencing some sort of emotional reaction to your environment, and a song comes on, and every time you hear that song, it's going to bring you right back to that moment. And it never goes away, at least for me. And I hope that it doesn't go away for anybody else. But I have so many different songs like that where I'm like, dude, like this entire album or this song right here, or even this verse right here takes me back to 25 years ago, 35 years ago, whatever it is. It's so insane how it imprints itself into your brain and stays there forever. And you can recall it right now by playing some of your favorite songs from when you were a kid.
For sure, man.